All right, guys. So let me just give you a quick briefing. So last night I kind of shared a personal story of a young kid I met out here who's 14 years old. He was abandoned by his mother. She had a tough decision to make. She had to leave the country, and she could only take one of her kids, and she took the youngest one. So he's been out here by himself since 13 years old. All right. Um, me having all the time, somehow I was tasked with just the responsibility of like connecting with this kid. So, a couple breakfasts and some dinner. And then I get this kid's story, and it totally broke my heart, knowing that this is an actual reality for a lot of people. And not only here, but this happens in the United States. The only difference here is, by law, they're not forcing anybody to go to school. Clearly, if there was a kid just hanging around every day at the same place, someone might alert the authorities, and there could be a system in place for that individual. Um, so either way, he ended up connecting with somebody that owned a kind of a bicycle for excursions and things. So it's like two pedals on each side, and you can actually, I'll show you better than I can say it. I have Sharon. Sharon.
Let me make sure you got it. Yeah, you got it right now.
All right, cool. And I just want to update everybody who supported yesterday too. Amazing.
That.
All right, let me know if that's good.
Yeah, we good.
All right, cool. So this is Kevin today. Kevin, actually, I didn't see him yesterday. I went out for dinner. Usually he's in the same place. And then when I got up this morning to do kind of my local run, I didn't see him this morning. Right. And there's no way of communicating with Kevin. He doesn't have a phone. So the one thing I did tell him, I gave him my unit number at where I'm staying. I said, if you ever need me, just come to the security and they'll call me. Today, my phone rings and it's Kevin. He's downstairs. And this is like the first thing he does. He gives me two thumbs up. Right. He's just chilling. So we kick it. I'm like, you know what? Let's go because I had told him I'm going to take him. He said his mom left him with like two or three outfits, right? And it's not enough time to do laundry and have something fresh. So no fresh clothes. I told the story of taking him to the store. He didn't have, I thought maybe we were buying some water. I offered him some candy. He said no to sugar. And he told me toothbrush, toothpaste. So this is where this kid's mindset is right now at 14. Something that I didn't know that I found out today, I asked Kevin when was his birthday. June 21st. Kevin's a Cancer. So
Cancer.
if anybody knows, these cancers have been on my neck. And I know why you guys are tasked, and champs of cancer also. Just very emotional, very, kind of in the moment. It's the opposite of who I am, being so grounded and just go, go, go. Right. So there's that tug of war. My son's a Cancer, champs of Cancer, this kid's a Cancer. Right. So me knowing so much about the Cancer sign and watching how this kid with his emotions and this water sign, what he's going through, I could only imagine. So there's times where he's smiling and then there's times where he's like deep in thought. Right. So I have to know when to like stop asking questions. So I told him I would take him shopping. This bike that he's on, he actually met a person who owns it and he leases it every day. He's supposed to pay a certain amount of rent and whatever he makes extra, that's his. Okay. But there's days where Kevin's just not making the money. So it kind of goes on the back end and he wants to purchase the bike. So, quick story, I asked him if he had one wish right now, what would it be? Right. And he stated if he could own the bike, and I said, well, what would that mean to you? He was like, then I wouldn't have to pay the rent and then I can start to, make more money. He's trying to save every bit of it, meaning not eating much, not drinking much, and just relying on, little tacos type stuff that they have, or arepas and things they have out here, which are very cheap. But if you're not making money to feed yourself, then you definitely don't have money to clothe yourself or to have communication. Now, I have a background. I'm a serial entrepreneur. So since the young age, since the paper route, I've been doing what Kevin is doing, meaning going out to make money, but I had safety around me with parents. Okay. Not that it was nurtured, right? So I know when you have a gift, how much it could mean to have a mentor. So I can see why I would be the one tasked with him. The academy came together. We raised over $1,500, guys. That's over 6 million pesos. Okay, so I just want to put this in perspective and letting you guys know where the money's going. So I'll match everything. This kid is he's gonna do okay. All right. Now I said, all right, Kev, we grabbed breakfast, then we shot over to the mall. We went shopping. He doesn't know his size, nothing. Right. So Kevin's a 16 in boys. He's 14. He's not in school at all. He has no interest. He said like what 14-year-old be like, yeah, I want to go to school anyway. right? Kevin just knows he has to just survive and make money. So we get to shopping. And then soon after that, I went and I got Kevin, has never been to the movies ever. So I'm like, Kevin, I don't really have time to watch subtitles. So I'm going to purchase the tickets for you. So that way you can go back. Right. So he has a friend, and they'll both go to the movies together. All right. I can't experience that with him. All right.
Yeah.
And then after we went shopping, we went and so here's the thing. As I was talking to him, I was like, yeah, we could figure out where the cell phones are at. He told me, he was like, listen, the clothes are probably more important than the cell phone. So don't worry about it. So now I'm getting to know a little bit more about his personality. Definitely not a taker, right? I don't know too many cancers that are takers like that anyway, from the guys that are around me. It's just not naturally within them. So
Yeah.
he's not a taker. He's very practical to be 14. I said, no, don't worry about that. All that is, all that's together. And I told him my community came behind me and there's extra now, right? I was already doing what I was going to do anyway. Now I'm just going to match whatever was done. So we get the cell phone, we put the chip in, screen protector, set up his Google with his email to get WhatsApp, I was the first contact inside of his phone. This kid is like lit up, right? And it's hard to pull emotions out of cancers, right? Even though they are emotional, there's times where they're not going to show it, depending on who you are. And if I know cancers, they're very guarded too. And this is a skill that he's going to need if he's in the streets by himself, having to rely on himself. He has to be even more guarded than how they naturally are. Champ, can you attest to that?
Facts.
Okay. Right. So this is us bad shot, but we're at the cell phone counter. He's trying to go for the most practical phone, which is like a Roomy or something. And I was like, listen, you got to get this, you got to get the Samsung. And it's not the same, like they have lower end Samsungs. So this isn't like $1,000 Samsung. Like they're like $80, and then we got him a chip. They didn't do minutes there. And we had to go to another store to go get the minutes. So now Kevin has fresh gear. We also went and got some toiletries, got him extra towel. He didn't know anything about a washcloth, got him some scrub because Kevin has a lot of dead skin he has to kind of get off. So I've been schooling the kid on just hygiene, right? What to do, what to wear, got him a nice water bottle so he can then, buy bigger water because now I'm explaining to him that smaller doesn't always mean better, right? He would look for whatever is the one pack and not realize that if you got a big gallon of water, it costs actually less than the smaller one that's in the refrigerator. I get where I'm going. So I'm like going through all the motions with this kid. He's picking up quick. So I'm like, listen, fill the water up because before he would get water cups. And I'm like, then you got to throw it out. I bought him bungee cords so that way he can hold water if he needs backup. His body has to be hydrated in the sun. All right. Kevin doesn't know the time, so we still have to get him a watch and then some sunglasses because he's blind in his right eye from baseball. Retina detached from a ball hitting him in the eye, and he probably can't get his vision back at this point. So he tells me when the sun hits his eye, everything looks white, and this is what this kid is dealing with. Right. So tomorrow we're going to get him some sunglasses, and then he'll have a watch so he can know time. But somehow, every time I've had a time with him in the last couple of days, he's always there at that time. And you guys know I'm always on time, but I've always been running a couple minutes late, but he's just parked chilling. So once we finished that, we went across the street to a grocery store that actually had the minutes that you can pre-purchase. He kind of knew about that. What I liked about his next move was one of his best moves for me. When he went to go get the minutes, he's speaking to the lady. I can't talk. So he decides what minutes he wants based on what he had in his pocket. I didn't have to pay him. I paid him extra for his rides, but it was always kind of a service, like here in exchange. So it felt so good for him to be able to pull that money out to load his cell phone up that day. And I know that feeling because I remember getting checks as a younger child for the first time, right? The independence and the freedom and just being able to do for self as a child is probably one of the most important lessons that every child should have. And that's why it's kind of even more painful that in America now, there's a reality that kids won't even be needed for the workforce anymore, right? No one's reading the newspaper, so that's not happening. The registered jobs are being expired, and even then, they're only hiring probably older people at this point, right? Since the pandemic, you see less and less younger kids entering the job market, okay? So maybe in the next 5 years in America, there is no job market for these kids. So it's like, where does that work ethic come from? I don't know where it goes. I'm just telling you that what I was rooted in is what you're seeing today. This is how we're able to even come together because of that. I naturally have it, but if it wasn't nurtured through McDonald's, through security jobs, through newspaper like delivering papers as a child and delivering papers as an adult, working in coffee shops, you name it. I've had a lot of jobs younger years. The minute I got into college, everything from there was just straight eating off land and never worked for somebody. Um, you know, so it's just amazing that I met this kid at a time where I don't even have any friends out here, right? I do know Rotisha, she's busy, we rarely see each other. But Kevin is like, I'm like, bro, I gotta thank you for today because he's telling me thank you, and I'm like, well, thank you because you're opening my eyes to a lot, and you're actually spending time with me. So it's kind of cool that I meet this little guy. This is where it gets better, and then I'm done. He told me when we were downstairs, he says, I want to see the top of your building. Right. Yeah, I know the rooftop. If you follow me, it's like mountains and ocean, and the views are just so much better looking up. And that's Kevin now. Oh, hello. Okay. Bang, bang. He's on his way. All right. So Kevin wants to see the rooftop. Guys, this rooftop is so special to me. If there's going to be anything I miss about here, would be standing up there and just being. I have to contribute that view to part of just my shedding when I first got here, right? Those mountains, something about that energy up there just had me releasing. So this is probably one of the it was just a special moment because I felt what he felt because I know what it was like as an adult who has money that can do these things, right? What that feeling is like. So I was able to just make that come true because I could only imagine if I was able to see views like that. And I was telling my wife, if I had a mentor like me, like where I would be right now. And not saying that my father didn't do that. So single father growing up, I didn't have my mom around. He just showed me what it took to become a man, it's just taking care of the house, but didn't nurture what I had, right? Didn't we were on opposite sides of it. Hard workers, but I did for self, he did for others. We kind of both served people, but he worked for a paycheck. I created reality. He never understood that too when I was, in college. Like, what do you mean you don't get up at 5 in the morning to go to work? I'm like, bro, that's not what I'm tasked to do in life, man. Now that I look back at it, it's old Haitian, first generation Haitian American, you kind of go against that mold a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not third world and he has third world mentality, right? Because he's coming here on survival. I'm like, nah, there's more to America than that. So I get this kid who's like, he's the epitome and the embodiment of like what every adult should do. Just figure your shit out, right?
Yeah.
Figure it out. So I was talking to a friend today, Jeremy, actually, and Jeremy said, when I told him the story, he was like, you know what's crazy? He's going to work for you and with you at that resort. And I said, you know what? I did say that to myself. I can
Crazy.
see this kid and myself having a long-standing relationship where he's like my eyes and ears,
Called it yesterday. Yep.
right? I kept it in because I had that feeling. I'm like, man, I should take this kid up there and just, get him trained and, he'll have a place and make sure he's safe. And but I'm like, it just wasn't connecting at that point. When Jeremy told me that, and then Champ, we had that talk. I'm just like, I could see it.
Yep.
I can see it. The kid is sharp. He's a sponge. So it's like, listen, this kid he could fall into the wrong hands too. And next thing you know, he could. Who
Right.
knows, right? This is how they groom these guys. Um, but it looks like the people that surround him have given him opportunity to go make money. So I told him when he asked me for the one gift that he wanted, it wasn't to see his mom and his brother and everything. He was living in the moment and it was just survival, right? So no birth certificate, no clothes really left behind, shopping done, phone done, minutes cool, and then I have his phone number so I could always top it up at any point, if I want.
Yeah.
And he has enough money where he could be topped up for quite a while because everything is cheap here. I don't even know what plan he picked. It was just 20,000 pesos. And I knew how proud he was.
Yeah.
It felt like I felt when I cashed my first check. And I still remember that day when you cash your first check and they give you cash for it. Wild feeling, man.
Crazy.
Wild feeling to do something like that as a kid. All right. So now the rooftop experience. Look at this. This is it. And when he comes here, you'll know what I mean, man. All right. This is the moment where he's buying the minutes for himself. And mind you, he's looking out for me too. I was using my cell phone talking to my wife the other day, and I was on the outside, and he was like, "Yo, be careful, put it on the inside. The motorcycles come by and they snatch it." And I'm like, "Ah, okay, my boy got his head on a swivel."
Yeah.
And I caught him slipping today too. So when he was shopping, he wasn't paying attention to the clothes and everything we bought on the ground. And he was kind of only paying attention to the cell phone guys. I kind of called him out on it. I said, Kev, you got to either have it in your hand or between your legs. So you can see how a child is always going to need somebody around, right?
Guidance.
Yeah, for sure. Always. I'm like, my kids are still figuring it out. And we repeat the same thing every day.
Word.
So they about to be in survival mode in a minute. All right. So this is, I said, he's loading his minutes now. Gracias, my guy. Boom.
Yeah.
All right. Now, uh, can you?
Kev got that fresh blade.
He went and got a haircut today too. So his haircuts, I think they're about one of the barbershops you go to. They give it $4.
Wow.
This is this. So we screen protector, everything. Just capturing light moments. Yeah. It's guaranteed. You're guaranteed to get it. It's guaranteed. All right. So, me knowing what's needed for him, he wouldn't have understood screen.
Oh man. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna stop. YouTube, I can't pause y'all right now, but I'm a yeah, just hold tight over there. I don't want to interrupt the story, man. Oh man. All right, boom. Add pin. There you go.
All right, cool. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So this is the last moment here, the rooftop. And guys, if you know anything about this rooftop, I mean, infinity pool, two pools, jacuzzis. He was blown away by the pool table, table tennis, foosball. Like this kid was in heaven. So the first thing he does is when he sees the mountains, he goes, I take him to the other side and he connected with the beach. So if anybody knows, cancer's up off this thing, is he? And he just like it, pure magic.
That's dope. Young Kev.
Guys, that moment right there was it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there was any bit of reservation about why am I paying rent and I have a whole mortgage and I just paid mortgage today, I'm like, that was the moment that just made it all make sense. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not partaking in, I love the views, but to share those views with someone else, of especially with Kevin, and to watch how he was there the whole time. He didn't even want to leave. So I'm like, yo, no problem. Tomorrow, when you have a little low in business time, bring your swim trunks. You just go upstairs and you just, you and your friend, you guys could just kind of swim.
Swim, man.
Most people never experience buildings like this. See what I'm saying? So when you're in America, this building easily, if you on the water, let's say Miami, this building easily is a couple $1,000s. And if you're lucky enough to own it, you're probably going to pay upwards of 2,000, 3,000 in just condo fees. This is the type of like clean amenities that are there. So to watch this kid just perched over that side and you just watch him and it's like he knows what those views look like from the bottom, but it's totally different from the top. So I'm hoping that today left an impression on him. I'm hoping that Kevin and I have a lasting, relationship. And if that is a story of this kid coming to that Luminara and having any sort of position or anything, it would just be wild.
Mhm.
Wild. Um, I have a son, I have a daughter, and we're tasked with doing this stuff every day, but there's something in doing it for someone else in a short period of time, knowing that they don't really know, you
Yeah.
know, washcloths, alcohol, bungee cords, to tie certain things on his bike. He picked up a wrench and he was like, this tool I can use for just about anything on the bike. Right? Like this kid's not looking for the cars. Like we went through I just purposely went through the toy aisle and it's like non-existent.
Mhm.
A wrench. What?
At 14, crazy.
14 years old, man. At 14 years old. No social media, no clue what's happening in the world. Just can't even be a child and it's just taking it like I've seen a bunch of homeless guys laid out who didn't even put that play together in this country. So he's special. Um, I gave out the Zelle yesterday. This ain't a push, but if you're new on here and you want to give a little bit more to Kevin, it's in good hands. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have the intentions on even doing that. I'm matching everything that's given. I'm matching, and I don't think you guys understand how far 6 million pesos will go. Literally 6 or 7 outfits he got today was like $60. The phone was $157. That's phone, case, SIM card, screen protector. You know what I'm saying? And then he paid for the minutes, so we still have the bike to get. So here's the thing with the bike, guys. The bike is going to be, and Champ kind of came up with this, where it's going to be sponsored and powered by Skyton Academy,
Mhm.
right? I love business, so I told Kevin, I said, we're going to find a way to get a sign. I'm going to be your first advertiser, right? So with Luminara first with Skyton, we're going to have our name on it, and then with Luminara, when it's going, we're going to have the advertisement with the QR code. So when his guests come on, they'll always be able to see that. And then once I can get him set up on the printer, then we'll start selling ad space to other people. Because I said, brother, there's money to be made in different ways. And he's just soaking it up like a sponge. He
Yeah.
doesn't talk back. There's no pushback. He's just too young to not. He's just in that right place right now. I know that place. You know, I know that place. I had adults around me telling me, "Nah, you'd only go to the services." Like that's how they wrote me off when I was in school because of my behavior. Forget how smart I was, right? I tested out of classes to go into honors and then acted dumb just so I could be with my friends and then got messed around and put in ESL. I went from honors to classes where nobody spoke English. And I had people around that could have advocated for me. So he's coming. So we'll Champa do what he does, and then I'll just have Kevin come in. I told Kevin, you guys put some stuff together for him, and if you just say hello and say thank you, but it truly means a lot to the kid. And I know he doesn't have a whole lot of words, but I know cancers, and now I'm tapped into how you guys feel.
Nah, that's official.
But whatever for Champ though, he's just too big. You know what I mean? That's my guy though. But again, this is part of that journey because it shit. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Come on, like
Mhm.
Young Pete gets it all the time too. It's like, yo, I'm just tasked here. Like cancers are the type that, when they're tasked with somebody like me, it's like the structure that they need. But then what I need from them is that it's not that serious.
Mhm.
That's a good marriage. So I told my wife, I'm like, what do you think he is? And she first said Capricorn. And I was like, nah. And then she's like, Cancer,
Dope.
all over the place. So it just made sense. I don't know if Sonia's in here. If you want to drop the PayPal, we did Cash App yesterday, and then we did Zelle.
Yeah, she dropped it and then I dropped it again on YouTube.
All
Um,
right.
I don't know if you
That's
could see her, but mirror's on, sis is on. Sis says she got some balls, but she got some smoke for Dr.
she
Daddy.
got some, she's got a breakdown.
No bars. I just before you said your idea to have the sponsorship on the bike,
Mm.
but also the lesson in that because, I was concerned. I'm like, well, how was he taking all this receiving and all of that? And what was the lesson that you told me was behind the sponsorship?
Oh, nothing comes for free.
Right. So that part.
Yeah, nothing comes for free. So when I give him 20,000 pesos or 50,000 pesos, it's for a ride.
Mhm.
The thing I realize about this country is there's not too many people feel deserving here. I don't want that for this child. I don't want that for anybody. They would
It's
literally look
important.
at you. Huh?
It was important for you to keep his dignity intact
Right.
with all the giving, because he would, of the phone, the bike, the clothes, the movies, like I didn't know. I was concerned how he was going to process that. So I'm glad that you provided the context for him that nothing is for free.
Right.
This is what we're going to do. I'm going to help you, and this is what we're going to do. But also that you knew when to fall back so that he could keep his dignity and his pride and not feel like a charity case. And one more thing, Princeton actually said that Kevin was going to work at the resort earlier.
That's crazy.
Wow.
What's up, Dev?
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good.
Bro, you got no job at the resort, man.
I do.
Come on, Kevin's running the resort, bro. Nah, I'm just joking. So you knew. How did you know?
I just thought of it. It just made sense for him to work at a resort.
It just makes sense.
hmm
Go.
What can you do? Where would you want Kevin? What position?
Maybe like serving people like food and drinks.
A busboy.
Yeah.
I can see that. He's got this infectious smile. Again, he's a Cancer like you too, Princeton.
hmm
So there could be a connection there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so definitely, he has WhatsApp now. I'll definitely connect you guys. And when you come and do your summer internship for free, um, who knows? Who knows, guys? And it's another chapter or another page in this book that we're writing. It's frustrating. My wife will tell you, as frustrating as I was with just everything that was happening around me. I was tasked with that, and it totally filled me. But now I'm leaving, and I'm like, I kind of miss this kid, man.
Mhm.
Right? I wouldn't look back at nothing, not even the resort. We're fine. Once that thing is locked down, we're good. But I'm like, damn, I'm gonna leave this dude. Because he thought he was like, oh, you're leaving? And I was like, no, I'm leaving next week. And then you kind of see them kind of like open up a little bit. So he found somebody on his own. He found a guy that paints cars that said he would paint his bike for free and he would reupholster the seats for free. Right. The only thing the guy wanted in exchange for that was he says, you have to go get the paint and the fabric. And he knew the amount of paint and he knew the amount of fabric, but I'm not going to do all that. What we're going to do is we're going to pay the guy, right? Because he has to understand that lesson. And then we're going to tell the guy, go ahead and get everything, right? Because time is money.
Mhm.
I'm dropping a lot of little gems on him that just make sense for him. Time is money. So let him do that, right? And it'll be from my hands to Kevin's hands, from Kevin's hands to the guy's hands. That's the exact order it's going to go in. So we're going to buy the bike tomorrow. He'll have no more rent, right? All debt will be cleared. I'm going to personally shake this guy's hand because I don't want to hear nothing. If I got to come back and this kid is still paying something, scorched earth around here. So he'll have full ownership starting tomorrow. Every bit of money that he makes would be going towards that. And here's what killed me the most. When he asked for his wish, then I said, all right, what would it mean to you? I said, I'll get it for you, no problem. But what would it mean to you? And he was like, now I could save my money and I could buy another bike for the friend that he's living with. And I'm like, God damn it, that's my guy. Right, Mira?
Yeah.
That's a selfless act. Because trust me, I was watching it, right? You could enable somebody.
For sure.
That's how the world is. If not for how I ended up here, if not for all the things I went through prior, I met Kevin at the right time because I already shed it. I was watching seagulls and different birds, like playing it easy when the fishermen were coming in. I'm like, oh, those are the takers in the world. right? Can't do for self really. So I was analyzing that, going out on the fishing excursions and seeing guys, you know, I don't know if the boat was even going to make it at times, but coming back in, watching them put things together, and then watching a group of 4 or 5 boats go out and seeing that they pull it together. Because I'm like, all right, well, how are they breaking this down? There was no beef. When they passed it to the guy that cleaned the fish, and then the money was exchanged to the guy that holds the money, it wasn't the same guy that was fishing. It was organized. And it was house money. And then however they divvied up at the end of the night. And as long as there's no problems, guys, and this is the community of what we're creating here, is what I witnessed firsthand there, only in person. So I can't be lucky enough. So if, you know, if I'm running into a little bumps and bruises with communication and all that, you know, like my wife said, but did you die? That's the shit she tells me. As she's very comfortable in the house. I check in on the camera and I'm like, what would I do to just be in my house, man? And it's like,
Huddle. Huddle,
huh?
Steve. Huddle.
Yeah, I've been hodling. Look at all this shit. It's all from hodling, right? And it's probably in it. I'm meeting this kid at the right time because I'm starting to have an appreciation, right? There was times when my wife would come on and be like, Steve doesn't do the feelings well. I must have cried more on these calls than like ever before in my life. And not that I'm not a crier. I feel deeply, but like to shed that in front of a group and to be vulnerable is not something that I always, you know, was good at, right? You're just taught to just toughen up. What are you crying for? Like, even when it hurts, it's like, what are you crying for? So, you know, you kind of break that stuff down, and that's been a lot of the big release of, you know, feeling like I'm of service too much with people and not feeling like a lot of times I don't really get it paid back in return, right? I sit with that a lot too, where it's like people just take. That's how it feels, you know. And then when it's, you know, when it's time for you know, my needs, people are only calling, like nobody calls to check on me. Literally, nobody calls. Anytime the phone would ring or there'll be a message, it's for something. And I'm gonna give you a little story real quick, and then Champ, this would be a good segue to jump in. I get a message on IG, right? And I missed the first message, but I get a second message. I happen to see it. It's not even in my, it's like general or requested or something. So I was like, let me go in this box. I get the message, and this was the same day Storm and I did that conversation about real estate and all things, and, you know, just kind of moving abroad. If you didn't see it, it's a good one. The message says, I'm not going to name the person or anything like that, but I'll paraphrase. Your friend took some money from a group, right? And this is a real estate deal. We just talked about this. Your friend took some money from a group. It's been 5 years. It looks like you're doing good. Can you either get him a job or give him the money to pay us back? Thank you. I hope to hear from you soon. I'm like, but, you know, I've shed some shit, but I'm still that. I'm him, right? So I'm like, the fucking audacity to come in my inbox. And we were just talking about this shit, like the accountability. You follow these people, you have no clue what's going on, right? And then you can't do for self, so you rely on somebody else. And then when it doesn't go your way, you want to cry, right? That's why I didn't go into real estate in the sense of teaching it. We did a little bit at the academy, but the reason I didn't go too deep is because it seems like the holy grail is the easiest way to catch fish. I can cast a big real estate net. I chose crypto. What does crypto do? It separates who's serious and who's not, right? Because it's so future forward thinking. I would have destroyed real estate. I watched at the time, the pandemic, all this money came in. I've watched everybody blow it. What they did was they put it in education. So they say, and then you had these culture vultures that were out here that I don't think that was their intention. I just think that when you've never handled that much money before, and then you start to change your lifestyle a little bit and you led with lifestyle, you got to kind of afford the lifestyle. You get what I'm saying? So now it's funding your lifestyle, then you're forgetting that you still had to do the work and this person's relying on you. But then I got to hold the people equally accountable. No paperwork, no questions, all trust. Never met the person, never felt the person's energy, nothing. When my wife, I was telling her about Envy and Caesar and those guys when they were doing their little real estate thing. What's the first thing I told you, Mira?
You said you can't. Well, which part? Because I don't.
Well, first of all, you can't trust a guy that big who's not
Yeah.
taking care of his health.
Straight up.
It's not a dig against big people. It's just a matter of I have to look at how you not only take care of yourself, your wife, your family. If I know a guy is cheating, I'm looking at him like, oh, if you can do that, then what would you do to me?
It's a fact.
I move on a different accord than most of these dudes. So I got on the internet and I started to say certain things, then I was labeled a hater, then they blocked me. But when I get home, it's on. I'm naming names, I'm tagging pages because the inbox messages that I'm getting is horrible.
But Steve,
Yeah,
you gotta say the amount that he so cavalierly asked for.
$100,000. $100,000. And he sent the message to me twice. Then I had to go back to say, what's my history with this guy? Almost every trigger word he was triggering. Detox for health, academy for crypto, water for understanding your water situation, everything that I put together to help people on every keyword that I asked y'all for nothing, for free.
Mm-hmm.
I had people hit me in my inbox like, yo, you haven't talked about crypto in a long time. I'm here for crypto. This is what the internet's doing to me now. I'm 47 years old. I got to put a camera in front of me. I got to talk to people. That's why I had that meme the other day where it was like, but they said 30, but I'm way above 30. And it's like, yeah, I have to talk online about serious topics that nobody cares about. I'm like, this is when I tell you I'm gonna go dark. I'm gonna go dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had another post that same week where I said, when I stop caring, the world's over.
Mm-hmm.
And I meant that. If I stop caring, that's it for humanity. And I've been telling my wife for a long time, and she pushed back on me a few times. I'm like, nah, they're gonna have to reclassify people. They're gonna have to do this. They're gonna have to do that. The thing with my wife is you gotta have the words to wrap around it properly. I just get the vision and the intuition, and I just blurt it out. And it may not make sense, but where are we at right now, Mira?
You're reclassifying people.
How you feeling about humanity right now?
Oh, no, I mean, I'm on the right side of things. Humanity is cool on this side, but
Right, but I'm just saying the overarching of it.
there's going to be a lot of people that will perish. And that part is whack, but this is the evolution. And I accept it.
And I accept it
And
too.
this is the pendulum swing back.
And guys, you've heard me, like I've had so many talking points, and one probably the most pivotal, well, my favorite is blockchain technology, keep white men honest in America. They're gonna sidestep most people. So that one may not work because the people on the wrong side wouldn't even pick it up. But I think the one that I've ran with that a lot of people love is the by 2050, the net worth of all African Americans combined is gonna be zero. And I always said, not under my watch, and definitely not in my community. See what I'm saying? So that's all I got, man. The timing of it, right? So I go from sitting alone, which I had to. And it was immediately after Justin and two of my guys left, and then this kid comes into my life, fills up my space, fills up my cup. I get to fill his. That then my wife got connected that one. She was like, "You both need each other right now."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then for us to come full circle right here, right now, and then I'm leaving next week, finally making a decision to come back home. And then, now I got this kid here. Not only this kid, but I have this resort here too. So, figuring out how I just always keep, Kevin just in my mind, no matter what, or just anything. I can only imagine the thoughts that go through this kid's head, man. And if I can just be just a little bit of breath of fresh air for him, to offer him some guidance, and I asked him where his dad is, and he's like, his dad ran off with another woman. And I'm like, that's that weak shit that I talk about. So when you guys are dealing with these mentors and these people online and they start to put, you start to see certain things about these people, wealth is quiet. It's not loud. You understand? So that means that if you're hearing the wealth, you're not ready for it. It's a feeling. That's why y'all fuck with us. We ain't asking y'all for money every single second. It's like, yo, if I charge you, I know what it is. You know the value of it. I've been buying product from these guys. I can name all of them. I was in every single one of these groups for support. Not that I thought I was going to learn something, just for support. And then when I saw it, that's when I was like, yo, they're getting rug pulled out here. These kids have no experience. You can't have somebody leading you who doesn't even really rarely know themselves and can't really stand on much, because once that money comes, guys, I've had it. I've lost it. I've had it. I've lost it. I've gone through a lot of battles with that situation, even to a point where it's like, I'm at the I don't care phase when it comes to that, in the sense of it not controlling me. So when I took you guys through all these motions, it was never about how much money you can make in cryptocurrency. You can go to any video. This is the obvious, right? I turn away money. Oh, I'm give you a one-on-one. No, thank you. Oh, let me show me how to do the cold storage. No, thank you. Right or wrong in the chat. People in my own academy mad at me, like, I can't believe this dude is making me do the work and I'm trying to pay him. All right, go ahead, go land, go figure something out. And the reason I wanted to do that is because the day that I go dark, you have everything that I knew you knew. I've seen some wallets that were actually, they were holding more than I was holding. Now, I ain't got that much, but there were some people that went in. I'm like, oh, okay. There were some people that sold some properties, some of my young boys. And they still to this day attested to me, never gave me $1. And I got some guys who were just like, they're just paying me just to pay, or paying us just to pay, because they like, nah, you're doing too much. Everything has been priceless since we started this situation. I take pride in what we do. Champ does the same thing. If we didn't line up together properly, it just wouldn't have worked.
Wouldn't have worked.
No chinks in this armor. This is why I curate who I bring on this platform. This ain't those big platforms where it's like everybody kind of ran through it and whatever. The reason that those guys have every single scammer that's been on that platform is because they wanted one thing. They wanted to know how many followers you have, right? Because all they were interested in was their pockets, and y'all know who I'm talking about. That's it. They don't care about y'all. They're not even giving you the plays that they really talking at the real tables, the real investments that they're putting in. They don't bring those back to the community. That's why the air is taken out of that situation. And then everybody that was in that platform, it ends up doing the same thing to the actual culture. And what do? Oh, they don't take no accountability for it. I'm not saying that you did or you didn't do it, but I'm just telling you that if you're giving people these opportunities, how come they're aligning with you so well? And what did you tell me about the size of our platform? Every time somebody says we should be a lot bigger, Mira.
No, I said it's the right people in the room. It's about the alignment, not about the quantity of just bodies in the room. These are the people who are participating in the give back, in the cyclical nature of just human connection, not just taking. So these are the right people that are in the room. You don't need that many. You just need alignment amongst the community. And they're here. They show up
every week. And I actually have more energy when there was only maybe 5 or 6 people on the call, Champ, and I included in that number, right or wrong.
Facts.
We stayed the course. How much money were you making, Champ?
0 donuts.
Okay. It's difficult, huh?
Yeah. That should take grit, take tenacity, take passion. You know what I mean? Resilience.
He never wanted to leave, guys. I've been trying to break this guy for a minute.
I'm unbreakable.
Didn't I tell you go get a job?
Straight up.
What I was saying.
Yeah, real talk. Yeah, now these are real discussions. Like these are real things that we discussed. Like this was on the
We
table.
hodling. We're not really selling anything. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, my wife telling you hodl, like, yo, straight up for dear life, man. This has been like 10 years in this industry right here. And then to think that we didn't even have to do this
At all.
I wouldn't have had this community, but it would have been a different trajectory for me at the time. I really only came out due to I saw the power of social media, and I saw who was on the side controlling a lot of this stuff. So there was no pandemic money left for us to take from anybody or to accept. 1999, 999, 199, free.
Word.
I keep giving these dudes this money thinking the value is it. Price is not value. You want to keep following Myron Goldman. Price is not value. He's tugging on your emotions with the Lord. Okay. in due time. I told you, after 2025, you're gonna start to see it. These Babylon is collapsing, and it's everybody.
Fast.
So now they want to write self-help books now. How's those books? They good? You want to help people, give them the plays. They went for years on it, and I got a guy who's like super influential. He's like, "Yo, they coming, we gotta have the conversation." I said, "Nah, clip that." I said, "I'm good on that. I don't want no association with that right now." We're not on here
Steve,
for likes. What you got?
you know, are you saying that y'all didn't have to do this? And it just occurred to me, 3 years ago for your 44th birthday is when I gave you that rainbow fluorite that you wear around your neck. And you had said just the other day that like I never talked this much until like after I got that rainbow fluorite. So you were activated. You did not acquiesce. Everybody else is acquiescing into like what the culture wants, this demand and the money and wherever the trends are going. But you had an actual activation. And that's why you're doing what you're doing. That's why it doesn't really make sense in terms of like, I don't have to, and I didn't ask for this, but you were actually activated and you were obedient. And that's why your community rocks with you and champ that much. That's the reason.
And who got the stone?
Huh?
Who got me the stone?
I did.
Who wrapped it by hand? I'm just
I
telling you,
did.
she'll tell me, don't let them touch your stone,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Don't let
That's
them
But
touch
you've been talking ever since. And that was 3 years ago.
going on 4 in November, 4-year anniversary.
4 year coming up.
All right, guys, we moving into like this digital sovereignty situation. So, you're starting to see the writing on the wall, right? Everything is going to come down to the new equity, the new flex is freedom, guys. And I said it today. I said it today. Did y'all see the post?
Mhm. Yeah, now you smoke that joint.
Let's just get that going. Damn, Ondo's on chain, huh?
World.
Champ gave me Ondo. What do you think the strike price was when you gave it?
Ah, man. You know
I
what?
didn't buy it the first 2 times you said it.
I honestly don't remember. I know that thing was super cheap, man. Matter of fact, where is she at right now? That might give me some context.
I don't think it was a dime.
Nah, it was under that. I know that for sure, but I just don't remember where it's at now. So now it's at 94. I gave that ages ago. Um,
Listen, Champ used to do this thing with these spots, man. Like now things are kind of getting a little getting down to
saturated.
the wire. Huh?
Yeah, things get saturated. Yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of get lost in translation. But you got render that's going to come back to life. You got a lot of you like they been testing these products. Now it's a matter of just them pulling the plug on it, and you know, Champ has been spot on with a lot of things.
Yeah. And I gave the members last night, I gave them some heat too. And I told y'all about I gave y'all the crow play before it took off. Very next day, that joint was up 46%. That's what I do, man.
Wow.
Very next day.
Let me close out some of mine. This computer is like struggling. All right, guys, this is like this has been a wild adventure for me. And the wild part is I haven't even really been able to download like my experiences with Luminara. That just goes to show you what I was tasked to do here. And it was really one, take care of myself, shed, rebuild. I didn't think that was possible, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And then Champ will tell you I haven't been on work mode like that.
Yeah. I mean, the work is different. You're still working, but it's just
Oh, for sure. For
yeah,
sure. Even Luminara, maybe 5 times I've been there in a couple months.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been quarterbacking this thing. But we're at it. And I can't wait to I'm creating something a little different. I did say I was going to bring it to the academy, but I'm like, it's just way too much energy in the things that I'm doing, and even just the value. Like I just need the right people in the room who are looking to um, activate the way I'm activating. Because I'm hearing too much goals and all that other stuff. I'm like, come on, guys, we got to stop with this stuff. Um, we all can do this. We all can do this. Individually, collectively, you just have to be with the right team. But what I would tell you is you might want to trim down some of the groups that you're in right now. And if this is one of the groups, I'm okay with you trimming that down too. Just, I want everybody to kind of sit with self. Professor D's back on. So Professor D's coming back on in September, right at the right time. Because right before November, and that's the thing too, guys, is you don't understand wealth until you don't really know yourself. So we got to make sure we get the mental right before that happens. Because once you get that liquidity up, it's to never be seen again. You're not going to rebuild it again. No way. Not on this run. All right. I'm just trying to get in. Champ, you got anything on that? I know I sent you the video earlier.
On what?
Just the whole Kevin situation. I don't know how you process
Yeah,
that.
yeah, man. So
Knowing he's a cancer, does that change anything for you?
Nah, it doesn't, man. Just the overarching is just like I never was big on astrology signs and things like that, right? I just treat people how I treat them, right? I never knew like the whole like people say every cancer is emotional, they're this, they're this, they're this, and people will know it, right? And that's their experience. Me personally, I never got too wrapped up in that. So I would always just I'm a point man, is what they call you. Is when you're an observer, right? You play fly on the wall, you watch everything that's moving. I got PTSD, so it's a little bit of a superpower. So you get to kind of see people in their natural state, their emotions, what they say, what they do, how they move, how they're affected by certain stimuli, etc. Now, with Kev's situation, just to give you guys a little context before I like kind of give my take. So Steve shared the story with me, right? And it was so organic, but what's so crazy was in the moment, I kept thinking about my nephew, right? My nephew's incarcerated right now. So, and he's young. Now, he did something super irresponsible, but he's been trying to reach out to me, right? When he was home, I would be able to call him whenever I wanted to, but he wouldn't always answer the phone, right? He would duck smoke because I'm the one who's holding everybody accountable. Like I got him by his collar, you know what I mean? While I'm down here trying to make sure he's got his head on straight. So I'm thinking about how good and innocent he was as a younger kid. And then when Steve shared the story with me, it made me think like, yo, this is wild because this shows you two different paradigms of if you have the right influence around you, you can still make bad choices, right? That's just reality. But the thing is with this kid, Steve didn't know this little kid from a can of paint, but the fact that he was there in that time, in that moment, to be able to experience the kid and then be able to give him gems and nuggets, and then ultimately he became Skyton's child. Like he's everybody. I see you guys in the comments, like the contributions that everybody gave to him. It it really makes you feel like a closeness to him, right? And we never met him. We only seen him through Steve's eyes, right? Through that lens and through, the captures. So it's like it's super dope, man, to be able to see a kid like this. And it was heavy. When I first heard the story, I kind of got a little teary-eyed. You know what I mean? And I think that was something that was like a personal thing, but to see a young kid that age with those circumstances to be that resilient, that resourceful, and still hold on to his innocence, his purity, and then still be able to kind of like take guidance from a complete stranger, right? Because he felt like a piece of home with Steve. You know what I mean? And for him to be my brother, like I felt I'm the guy who will always give, right? If it's a homeless person, no matter what, I'm always that guy, right? I'll empty my pockets for somebody like that. So I never got to see that happen with pretty much anybody else. For Steve to share that with me, that hit home the most to me because it let me know it was like more of a reinforcement. Like, this is my brother for real, right? It's blood couldn't make us no closer. Like that's my guy. It's his character, right? To show up for a kid that you don't have no responsibility to, but it's just on your heartstring to do what's right, do what's honorable, right? That's something that everybody needs. And I told Steve earlier today, I said, yo, thank you for being you, right? You deserve your flowers, like genuinely. That's not like a buzz phrase that you text somebody, like, nah, I meant that from my soul. Like, you deserve your flowers because everybody needs somebody. And that kid, he was the perfect example. He was perfectly placed right in your hands. And you're about to leave. That's the wild part. You know what I mean? So for you to like meet him, go through this kind of whirlwind, and then look out for him like this, and then kind of bring him into the fold with the rest of us, and we all consider ourselves family, man, that's next level, bro. So
Appreciate that.
yeah, man, I appreciate you, bro. Real talk.
Oh man, listen. It it felt like just taking one foot and stepping right in front of the other, man. I didn't feel any sort of inconvenience at all because you know how I move too.
Yeah, yeah,
It's concise, it's quick. I say what I say, and it's going to be that. So, um, yeah, I'm just looking forward to just. I mean, if anything, we'll partner on that business, right? Because
right.
I even told him the second one, you might want to go in another neighborhood. You guys
Mm,
don't need to compete with each other. Go see what it's like in the real tourist areas,
yeah,
right? Truck that thing down there. So I wouldn't, I told you guys, part of coming here wasn't just for Luminara. It was to get into tourism and all sorts of excursions and boats and infrastructure. So if this is going to be one of the side chains, then this is dope because I know
yeah,
that anybody that comes to town that's coming to rock with us, you're gonna rock with Kevin because that's going to be your driver, throughout the neighborhood.
yeah,
And there's no option. It's love if
yeah.
he's not too busy. So now that he has his phone, he told me, the meaning behind the phone is he's like clients want to call him because of course when he drops them off, that's a drive that's you can pick them back up again. They don't know how to reach him. So it almost has to work perfectly with timing. Now he has a phone. He's going to start creating, I told him collect the client's numbers, check in on them when they come to town, right? Just
Mhm.
be personable in business. And Kevin has a smile that's just infectious. Like people love him. I see it. Even the people in the neighborhood, and no one knows his circumstances either. So he's not out here selling pity.
Yeah.
Nobody knows his circumstances. That's Kevin. All right, let me share this real quick, and then this will be a good segue. Damn it, we did it again.
Mhm.
Everything but crypto.
Word, do y'all even want crypto tonight after this?
Well, you got crypto intents you're shooting too, guys. The crypto intents that Champ put together are like they're bite size, and it's like he gets right to the meat and potatoes.
Straight up, pause.
10 minutes or less. Here we go. Hold on. I know I got to share the volume again, right?
Yeah, yep.
What's that about, bro?
I don't know why it does that.
This infrastructure out here is raw. All right. At least I know where to go now. What were the comments like yesterday? I wasn't even reading them like that.
The same as today. You know what I mean? Pretty much everybody was, it was a big pull on everybody heartstrings. Everybody just wanted to contribute and, kind of bless him and, see it through for him.
Champ, you know what? My thing is like slow, and by me doing all this stuff, it's just taking up bandwidth.
Yeah, it's cool. If you want, you could
I
drop it.
dropped a link in Telegram.
Let's see.
Derek?
Yeah, yep.
Champ.
Talk to me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yo,
The link is in Telegram if you want to just play it. I have no bandwidth.
I got you.
Yeah, my wife activated this stone, boy. It's over.
Right.
Let's talk about it. I can't confirm or deny this. So UK supermarkets ban shoppers without ID, no food. Again, could be misinformation. I'm not confirming or I'm not denying. But one thing I can say is in watching the geopolitical system around the world and understanding global finance with all things tech, AI, crypto, and blockchain, it gives the powers who control that ultimate power over people. Now, the most effective prison is the one where the inmate thinks they're free. So let's think about that. Social conditioning, social media, social this, social that. We're not all supposed to be put inside the same box. That's the same cell, right? So I get it. It's herd mentality. Most people need to be led, but you have to understand who your leader is and why they're doing what they're doing. So I'll end with this. Freedom begins the moment you realize you're not free. Let's talk about it in the comments.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what was the most disturbing part of that was reading some of the comments. And you watch people just focus on like disinformation, misinformation. Like these words didn't even exist a few years ago. You know what I'm saying? So never focus on the overarching of it. And I'm starting to realize now when you hear stories of slavery where it was like they didn't even know they were free. And then you had the ones that were free that didn't know what to do, and then they just went back. And I'm like, this is a never-ending cycle with just humanity. And my wife, she wrote an incredible piece on that, which it was the backdrop to everything we've been doing. And she's been on this for a year, before we're kind of sharing the same sentiments. So now we're coming down to it, and that's the key word right now. The key word is freedom. So when we talk about, crypto, yeah, that's part of it. But you have a whole digital sovereignty situation. You have a whole sovereignty. Like, I don't think we ever knew that we weren't free. So that's why that last line resonates and is so powerful, because you have to realize that you're not.
Yeah.
Free from the phone, free from the where you have to be. What time do you have to be? What time you have to be to work? What time you have to free from? Oh, I needed 2 weeks. Free from. Oh, I need to take a personal day. Free from asking anybody to just be. The resort sounds fun. It sounds like, oh my God, it's amazing to a lot of people, but y'all not understanding the freedom behind taking water from a river that's free, bringing it on site to then water and nurture the plants that then give you fruit that you can eat that's free, to then filter the water so that people could come and just partake and bathe and do whatever. Well, that's free, but that's a charge to come. And then the power of the sun to say, well, man, the grid is down. So why don't we just all capture power and conserve it through solar? And then a backup generator to know that even if I've never paid an electric bill or somebody wanted to hold something over my head, they can't come get what we got. Unless you come in with an army. I'm the embodiment of freedom. I've always been since I've been younger. I pushed against the educational system. I used to, my wife, she's lawyer and all that. She went, and I just didn't have the words. I'm like, nah, that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't it because I said it wasn't it. I see and I feel things differently from the rest of the world. And that's my only mission, is to really show people like, yo, there's a lot more out here and you don't have to ask for permission to do anything. You live through a pandemic where it's like, people are doing things against what they want to do. That's how I knew that we were in a bad situation. And then they pitted us against each other. And if they wanted to go any further, they could have had people hurting each other. because that's how far it went. We lost friendships over this thing. We lost family over this thing. Something that wasn't even real. I've seen it. I got the vision already. I'm hoping everybody lands well, but not this time. And it really is Darwinism. It really is the strong survive at the end of the day. Like this shit Champ and I are doing, this ain't something that everybody picks up. He told you he's making zero for a year. I'm telling you, this guy went through a lot with me, and I went through a lot, but I've been there before. I've been there many times. My wife knows she's been on this ride with me, and she's never not unsure about if I can make it out. That's why it works. She allows me to be me. She allows me to be free. And in return, I carry the world on my back. I'm him. And so are y'all. Every single one of you guys. But now let's get to this Ondo thing though, man. Actually, listen, that gold silver stuff, that's old. We've been telling you guys that. We have 2 programs inside the academy that show you either how to get it digitally or how to get it physically. And the physically is a membership that works like BJ's, where you're not paying an up price in gold. You're actually getting it at cost price. So we have at cost metals. What's the other one?
Glint Pay.
Glint Pay.
Yep.
There's no excuses. And I looked at my Glint Pay account the other day. I'm like, oh, I can't confirm or deny if the gold is actually in Switzerland in a vault. I'm just telling you that now.
Right.
There's no freedom in somebody else holding something for you.
Right.
So there are some aspects that we still kind of do rely on. I am relying on Zoom to not cut me right now. You know what I'm saying? We do rely on systems to help us connect and keep the information flowing, right? If not for the phone, Ashley wouldn't be posting everything we do. Like she's dope. She captures moments that I'm like, golly, because I don't go back to it too often.
Yeah.
Right. So without technology, a lot of this stuff doesn't happen today. All right. But I'm just telling you that with those systems, you start to, convenience starts to set in, and what Champ and I like to coin the golden handcuffs of America. Oh, they gold. Yeah, that's cute, but your hands are still wrapped behind your back. Actually, they got some on your ankles too. So I'm just telling you that these guys are going to, as information starts to flow, as you start hearing the truth and everything else, you're going to start to see these guys amplifying things. They'll even bomb countries with children and create famine, and we'll call it a genocide, and we'll be okay with it.
Yeah.
You don't think that happens here at some point? Cost of food rising, cost of fuel rising, can't really go places, can't really afford what you could afford. The genocide is everywhere. Some places worse than others. But if I learned anything from resilience from that, a 14-year-old kid going through what he's going through, and never once did I see a tear come down this kid's face at all. What's your excuse right now? To figure out something and do for self. Because the minute that these jobs are gone, the minute that these markets are displaced, because these guys, it's all profit driven. They don't care about people. You're going to start to see a rise in what we're doing, experiential experiences. Like Gary Vee said, people are going to start walking with people, talking with people. That's going to be the new form of business. That's how disconnected we're going to be from self and source. I ain't just talking it, I'm living it, man. See, I want to keep listening to that. Yeah, the Lord told me that, and money will come to you if you say these words 7 times a day. And yeah, okay. They gave y'all Chat GPT. Now it's cute. Y'all think, oh yeah, everybody can create something. Yeah, okay. I've been doing this since before the yellow pages. That's why I don't even care. Shut the internet off. That's a home game for me. I win that one all day. Bring this back to the streets.
Yep. Hand in hand.
Touching the people, shit, I'm in. Turn the internet off.
Hand in hand. That's it.
Watch them all fold. They even too young to realize that. So I could play both spaces. That's the thing. But I'm telling you, when I get back home, I'm naming names and I'm tagging pages. And I keep giving those people money. It's just like giving the enemy money at the end of the day. It's not being reciprocated. It's funding a personal lifestyle. Stop giving the wrong people energy. And I'm not talking about money, time. Stop. When no one goes to the circus leaves town. It's government, it's president, this is other platforms, this is other influencers, whatever you want to call them. If you stop tuning in, they leave town. Fuck. Let's get rid of these parasites, man. I don't even like using this word, but damn, give real niggas money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm
Cool.
up. I got y'all. Love. I don't know where Kevin's at, but he is a real person. I ain't even got time for all that, but he is a real person. But I'm done, man. My bad, champ.
Nah, you good, bro. Nah, these be needed, man. Listen, man, we could wrap this joint and they could get the smoke on the crypto and tens. It's up to you, man. What you want to do? We had an hour and 40. That playback, I don't know if y'all going hour and 40 is a lot. We looked at the data. Y'all don't be watching these calls for an hour and 40 minutes.
Nah, they like
If
17,
y'all ain't
18.
here, y'all definitely not watching the replay for that long. We know it. We see it. We study the data. So
Here's what we could promise. We'll shoot some crypto and tens on the exact topics you were gonna do, and I'll release one tomorrow too.
that's cool.
You guys have a couple crypto and tens, right to the point, right to the projects, right to the data, the dot connects and everything. But really, what I'm here for is that outro.
Ah, man. Yo,
Right?
do me a solid. Do me a solid. So what we'll do is I'll outro it, but do me a solid. Mira's link from yesterday. Share that. And while she's on the call, if she wanted to kind of say something about that article, that joint's dope. And YouTube over there, you shout out to YouTube, y'all over there rocking in the chat.
She don't be wanting to promote. I task her with rewriting the Bible. She be thinking I'm joking.
Sonya the truth.
Sonya got it?
Yeah, Sonya just dropped it.
Guys, she's been doing a series for this this publication, and it's been super dope. And listen, for anybody that's in New York and you guys are always on my neck, come to town. And I haven't been there in a while. I'm popping in. So if y'all want to pop out and show out, there's a mixer, and I'm gonna be in attendance, and we're gonna support. So if y'all rock with me, then y'all rock with her. So she's her for real. They're dropping a live publication, a printed publication, and I love that so much that we're getting back to the essence of something tangible, right? Not just this digital regurgitation of things, and you put it somewhere. The tangibles will never die.
Yeah.
And like she says, these guys, they burnt books back in the days. Imagine what they're gonna do with all this digital copy that we create. They're gonna rewrite it, or they could just erase it. She said something wild the other day. She was tasked with putting together the family library. It's got books on books on books.
Wow.
Right? If you kill that digital membership, that shit's gone.
Word.
There's no freedom without ownership. And there's no ownership without freedom.
I'm here, but I'm outside walking the dog and doing 50 million other things for the kids.
I told you, leave them kids
But
alone.
please check out the article. I wrote it, so I didn't have to speak about it. but it's there.
I
I
told
bet.
him we going up.
And
In New
order the
York.
physical copies. That would be a great support.
Get those physical copies. Anybody gonna be in New York, just drop a one in the chat. That link actually has a ticket to the event. I'm back. Esteban is back home.
When you coming back to the States?
Touchdown September 10th.
Let's go.
I leave on the 9th officially, but I'm doing an overnight in Bogota. I got some loose ends to tie up. And then I'm on the first thing smoking.
Let's get it.
But I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't want to put a time frame on this, but there's gonna be a time that I don't have to go through customs to go where I need to go.
Yeah.
That's the freedom I'm building right now. And if y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all know what it is. I'm pulling up to that thing. I'm changing the weather. Within 6 hours, I'm gonna get anywhere in the world and back for dinner. That's how wild this wealth transfer is gonna be. And that's as big as money talk as I'm gonna do, but it's always gonna be for something, not for like just to go somewhere and say I did something. Because time is the biggest freedom.
That's a bar.
I'm here for that outro.
All right. So, all right. So tonight we touched on something outside of crypto. This was bigger than the charts. This is bigger than the market strategy, etc. This was the witnessing of the power of story, from beauty to the complexity of heritage to sacrifices to basically being reminded of what freedom looks like. Not just financial freedom, but freedom of spirit. Steve mentioned yesterday on a call, he was talking about Colombia being out with the fishermen. So today was kind of like it was like a continuation of yesterday's call, right? In the building of Luminara, sharing the story about Kevin, who is now the Skyton child, right? He got a bunch of aunts and uncles that are gonna oversee him and make sure he's on the straight and narrow, right? Despite every single hardship that he previously experienced. That's not where his story ends. And that's not where this story ends. Because this is deeper than Kevin. This is about all of us. It's about remembering that behind every single number and headline and all of this stuff that's going on, ultimately, it's real people out here. It's real struggles, real dreams that are being manifested each and every day. And this is why I personally love Skyton, right? I'm biased, right? But this is to the heart. This is close to the vest. We can give you guys plays like it's nothing. But most importantly, what we're doing is we're building bridges, creating impact, moving with intention, morals, and principles. We're not just here to grow wealth, we're here to grow as human beings, to use our blessings as fuel to be able to bless others. So, what I'm going to leave you guys with is this. I got to ask for every single one of you guys, carry this energy forward. Remember what Steve just shared about Kevin. Think about the contribution that Mira just brought to the call. Think about all things considered. And remember, it's always people first. Remember that what we do together is always bigger than each one of us individually. This is legacy work. And when we all move as one, when we all move with pure love and intention at the center of our actions, nothing can stop the ripple effect that we create. So I want you guys stay connected, stay purposeful, and let's keep showing the world what happens when knowledge, community, and compassion collide. We'll see you guys on the next call. But stand tall, move with intention, and never forget, this is Skyton Academy. We unstoppable. This is Connect 108. We out.
Nice.
That's it.
Nice. And guys, let's let this Kevin story is not about a child in Colombia surviving, right? this Kevin story is about when this system shifts and we're all able to financially afford to change and rebuild and reconstruct, we come together and we take care of the problems that were caused by prior generations and the mismanagement of things. Right? Because understand, I think my wife had brought up something, and it was a saying that somebody said where it's just like, listen, we're just like borrowing the land from our children at the end of the day. So if we burn things down, what's left for them?
Mhm.
Right? It's our duty. It's our duty because the children would dictate the future. That's why I never look down or talk down upon that generation. It's really just the signs of the time. And I've never seen so much destruction being done to children before. Calculated destruction. So it's no time to ignore what's happening. We don't got to point fingers. We just got to rebuild, regroup, rejoin. I like where this is going.
Absolutely.
When I say I was done with the academy, it wasn't like done fully. It was just kind of done with, now I could find the proper words. I'm honestly done with teaching technology. That's kind of the obvious, like just press play. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to rewrite my story and make sure that what I can leave behind is definitely something that could be studied, right? Something that could be mirrored, mimicked, fine-tuned, expand on it. So this springboard and this platform that we got, this ain't for play. It's fuck them other dudes.
Straight up.
I'm him. You her, you him. He's definitely him. And I'm calling it out.